Hello everybody and welcome to Take a Look Hearthstone, where we're going to be checking out the latest expansion from Blizzard, One Night in Karazhan. We've got 13 new cards that we can get our teeth sunk into, so we're going to see how they're going to develop and where they're going to fit in the meta. So first of all, let's take a look at the Prologue. Now the first two cards that you'll be rewarded with are two class specific cards. The first being a Druid, which is the Enchanted Raven, a 1-mana 2/2. Need I say any more? This card is absolutely ridiculous. We've not seen anything printed like it before. It's also a beast, so it's going to synergize in Beast Druid decks. I think it's probably going to be played in every single Druid deck, even if it's not a beast deck. So this is probably my favorite card from the expansion, and I think it'll be a lot of people's go-to card for Druid especially. The second card is Fireland's Portal, a mage specific card. 7 mana, deal 5 damage, and summon a random 5-cost minion. So you've got to be thinking, well, what 5-cost minions am I going to get? Something like Doomguard or Earth Elemental, absolutely fantastic. But on the other side, something like Ram Wrangler or Big Game Hunter is not going to be so great. So it's a little bit hit and miss, but it might see its way into something like Tempo Mage. So those are the cards that you get from the Prologue. So let's jump into the first wing, the Parlor. The first boss that you'll face is the Silverware Golem. And funnily enough, it's the first card you'll get as a reward for defeating him. It's a 3-mana 3/3 Warlock card, which when you discard it, it automatically gets played onto your board. I think this is a fantastic mechanic for Hearthstone. We've seen it in trading card games previously, and we'll see cards like Soulfire and Doomguard really working well in conjunction with this. Perhaps a new breed of Warlock will develop because of this card. The second card that you'll get is the Deadly Fork, a rogue card. It's a 3-mana 3/2, and the Death Rattle gives you a 3/2 weapon. Now I don't think this is that great, because as a warrior you get a 3/2 weapon for 2 mana in Fiery War Axe, so I'm not sure it will see too much play, but maybe in a Death Rattle rogue, for example. The second boss that you'll face is the Magic Mirror. Now I think the cards you'll get for defeating him are pretty lackluster, the first being the Arcane Anomaly, a 1-mana 2/1 where you gain +1 health every time you use a spell. Now I think this might see play in something like a Tempo Mage, and people will definitely try and make it work, but it's not the greatest of cards in my opinion. The second card is the Pantry Spider, a 3-mana 1/3, which summons another 1/3 spider. Now in theory this is a 2/6 body, but because it's two separate 1/3s, I don't think it will trade very effectively on board. Something like a Twilight Elder can kill it twice and still be a 3/2. But the reason why I like it is because it's a beast, and it can synergize well with something like Beast Druid, Mark of Yar-Saraj, and Beast Hunter as well. So it's definitely a card that I'm going to keep my eye on in this expansion. The third and final boss is the Black King, and the first card you'll get is Protect the King, a warrior-specific card for 3 mana where you summon as many minions as your opponent has, but they're all 1/1s with Taunt. Similar to Unleash the Hounds, but without the charge. I think we'll definitely see people experiment with this, perhaps with a card like Bolster to try and make those 1/1s 3/3s, but with the amount of removal that's currently in the meta, I don't think this will break into those top tier warrior decks. Now the second card that I want to talk about is Ivory Knight, a paladin specific card. 6 mana 4/4, and the battle cry is you discover a spell, and the cost of that spell is healed onto your hero. Not sure about this card, to be honest. I think it's one of the worst in this set, but I think people will try and make it work in something like a Healadin. So you defeated the bosses, so what are your rewards? Well, the first is a pretty juicy one. It's a Hunter card, 3 mana 3/4, Cloaked Huntress, and you can play any secrets that are in your hand for 0. Now the body is already fantastic. I think people will definitely experiment with this, maybe add it to something like Yogin Load. It's just going to be a fun card, but I'm not sure it will reach a top tier deck. Now the other two cards, not so special. The first is Arcanosmith, which I'm just going to chuck straight into my disenchant pile. It is a 4-mana 3/2, so you're basically paying 2 mana for a Bloodfen Raptor, and the rest of that 2 mana is going on a 0/5 Taunt. If you really want that 0/5 Taunt, just play a Shield Bearer. That's all I'm going to say. Please disenchant this card. Blizzard, why did you make it? Now the last card is even worse than that card, if you can even believe me saying that. It is Morose, a legendary card which I don't think should be legendary because in my opinion it's just downright awful. It is a 3 mana 1/1 with Stealth that summons a 1/1 Steward at the end of each turn. These Stewards don't do anything special, they are just a 1/1 body. and with the amount of AoE removal that's in the meta, I don't see this making much play, to be honest. But all is not lost, because we still have the class challenges. The first being Shaman, where you are rewarded with a removal spell. 2 mana, where you deal 1 damage to all enemy minions and summon a random 1-cost minion for yourself. I think this is fantastic for Shaman because it's predictable board clear, unlike the random effects from something like Lightning Storm. It might see its way made into something like an aggro Shaman, but most likely it will be in mid-range Shaman. Now the second class challenge is Priest, where you will be rewarded with Priest of the Feast, a 4-mana 3/6 card that restores 3 health every time you cast a spell. Now I think Priest kind of got the bum deal in this expansion. There's a lot of lackluster cards, but this is probably the better of the 3, and it should make its way into most Priest decks that we do kind of see on ladder. So those are the 13 cards from the expansion. Thank you very much for joining us. Join us next week where we will take a look at the second wing of One Night in Karazhan.